want to see people win. But we also know there's people out there, they ain't playing the same game that you are. They ain't playing by the same rules. And we are easy to be taken advantage of. Cause that's what it boils down to. Like you got, if you have more takers in your life than givers, you got a real problem. That's what was told to me as I'm in a hospital, like trying to figure out how to keep myself from, you know what I'm saying, getting back down there. If you got more takers in your life than you got givers, you got a problem. So I offer that to anybody that's listening. Don't change who you are if you know that's you, but just be cognizant of who you're giving it to, because not everybody deserves the best version of you.
That's a
Right?
fact.
So, my name is Scotty Robinson. Welcome to the Cookout radio show and podcast. What's up, everybody? My name is Scotty Robinson. I am the host of the Cookout radio show and podcast. I want to thank you guys for tapping in with us today. We had a great conversation with Hillman Evans and Raphael McNeil on the subject of self-care. The question or theme for this show was, will you put you first? So I hope you guys enjoy the content. Hope you guys can take something away from the conversation. And we look forward to your continued support as we push out more information. Peace. All right. Hey, man, we about to jump this off, dog, because I don't want to hold y'all on here all night.
Oh, no, you good.
I don't want to keep y'all on here all night. I know. First of all, I appreciate both of y'all for agreeing to do this. We're going to start with that.
Absolutely.
Brand new venture. You know what I'm saying? Don't really have a whole lot of direction. That was by design. You know what I'm saying? If we can keep the conversation really just wide open and organic more than anything else, I think people will be able to relate to it more. I think people will be able to walk away learning more, and at the end of the day, man, they'll know they're not alone in all the day-to-day stuff that we all go through. So, with that being said, I'm going to introduce our guests, two guys that I've known for a very long time. Real good guys. I think the world of them. They've always been a phone call away at different points in my life. So, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with the elder statesman of the group is what I'm gonna call my brother. This is Raphael McNeil. His social media handles are, of course, underneath his name. Currently, Ralph is the Dean of Social Emotional Learning at Digital Pioneers Academy. So, I learned very early on with Ralph, man, that he has a calling to be around young people and lead them in the right direction. He's been a coach I think he's been a coach longer than most people have been alive that are probably going to be tuning into this. Ralph played his ball. I know he finished up at Fayetteville State, but you started at the Division I level at you're gonna have to refresh my memory, brother.
Old Dominion.
Old Dominion. He was at ODU. Claimed he was this amazing athlete. I pulled up some of his film. It was on VHS. So I ain't really get a full scope of it, but he can still hoop. I give him that. I won't tell him to his face, but he can still go. Some of the professional organizations that Ralph is a part of. He's a part of the National Association of Basketball Coaches. He's one of the big dogs with We Are One AAU basketball organization out of Delaware. So funny story about that. When I got him on earlier, he was kind of giving me his list of accomplishments. I'm thinking, like, there's no way this man is going all the way to Delaware, right? This will show you how ignorant I am to regions. I'm like, is there a Delaware in Maryland or something? Like, you talking about Delaware, Maryland? He was like, bro, no, like Delaware, like the only Delaware. So that's brother Ralph, man. Again, brother, I appreciate you being on.
Appreciate you
Ralph's
having
gonna
me.
have some amazing insight for y'all today. Um, so look forward to that. The next person, I had to actually create two documents to go over all of his accomplishments. My brother, my frat brother, Hillman Evans the fourth. Again, his social media handle is underneath his name. I could talk for a very long time about this dude. First encountered him my first year coaching at the collegiate level at Livingstone College, where he graduated, one of the many places that he graduated. Hillman was a bright eyed, deer in headlights defensive end, right, at Livingstone College. But one thing that I learned early on, whatever Hillman did, everybody else was going to do because everybody wanted to follow this man. He was Mr. Livingstone. He was a team captain. And always one of the guys that, when we knew things were tough and we were trying to build a program there, Hillman was going to always be one of those guys who was going to give you everything that he had. He was going to bring somebody with him, if not the whole team. So some of his accomplishments right now, he's working as the interim community executive director, is basically what I'm going to call it, for Greater Cincinnati YMCA. I mentioned earlier that Hillman is a part of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. He's an adjunct professor at Abilene Christian University. He has been an executive life coach for Dream Builders Incorporated. He's done that for a very long time. Um, he's a graduate of Livingstone College. He is a graduate of Queens University in Charlotte, and he is currently in a doctoral program with Abilene Christian University out in Texas. So, again, brother Hillman Evans, I was almost out of breath trying to talk about
Chill out,
everything that
man.
this man has accomplished. And more than anything else, y'all, this man is a brand new husband. Shout out to
Congratulations.
Hillman Evans for making one of the greatest decisions that you can make in life. He's very lucky. It wasn't him. She put up with him. Uh, you know, great, 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 amazing wife that is really taking him into a different level in his life. So shout out to his wife as well for that. All right, so introductions out the way,
Yeah,
y'all. We're gonna get into it, right?
Let's get
So
it.
the
do it.
topic today, something that we can all relate to. We're talking specifically about self care. We're
Yes.
talking about what does self care mean to you. We're talking about how to handle situations where you have to compromise your own well being for the benefit of others. So the question is, will you put you first? Will you put you first? So to kind of jump into the conversation, Ralph, when you hear the question, will you put you first? Tell me some of the first things that come to your mind.
Well, the first thing that's coming to my mind is, am I going to be selfish when I'm putting myself first?
Okay.
You know, like, because with me, it ain't just me. So, I got daughters, I got family members that look up to me. So when I'm, putting myself first, what does that mean for them?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always going to kind of err on the side of, I'm gonna worry about myself last, which, you know, in today's climate and period, that's not the way to go. So the first thing that's gonna come to my mind is, how is my putting me first go look to someone else or impact someone else?
Gotcha. Brother Evans, same
Yeah.
question. When you hear will you put you first, what comes to your mind?
The first thing for me is just like, will I know when to put me first, right? Because just similar to what Ralph just mentioned, like you got people around you that you care for so much that you forget about you. So it's like, that question of, will I? Yeah, I will, but will I know when to? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest thing, and that's something I'm working on and have always been working on for a long period in my life. Like, when will I know when I need to put me first to get stuff accomplished? So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Uh, we're gonna pause. Hey, Ralph, It sounds like you having a party over there.
I got it straight.
So I just muted you for a second. So if I hear it, I may mute you. It really ain't no way of me like telling you that I'm doing it. But of course, before I ask you the next question, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm gonna unmute you and shit. So
No, I got you. I got you.
They got the ice. They got the party going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our next question. I would like to know what everyday regular practices do you gentlemen engage in to focus solely on self-care?
Well, I'll jump in first. Old head. My practices is, sports, anything sports related, whether that's playing basketball, watching it on TV, sports center, like sports talk radio, anything like that, because it allows me to decompress. It allows me to kind of like step away from my day to day, stress, and just do something I love. And that's anything sports related. So that's my go-to.
All right, so I want to here's the goal. I want to really dig into what does it mean to decompress when you watch a sport. So like I guess I'll answer it and then we'll see if it goes anywhere. So I work in law enforcement, right? I'm a cop. That's what I do every day of the week. Every single day of the week, I'm doing something related to my job. So for me, I'm big in the family. I'm big into when I decompress, I separate. I literally have to separate myself wholeheartedly from my job. So I half the time I don't even like dealing with people at my job. If I'm being honest, like I'm at a point now in my life where literally I have to separate the two. So, I'm a gamer. I'll jump on the game and get so lost in playing games that, other things suffer. Like it's a running joke with all my friends. I know y'all gonna have something to say about this, but I will get so wrapped up into my games that if my phone go off, if it's a text message,
it's a wrap.
all right, let's not be extra. You know what I'm saying? They get it. Well, I'm getting better at it, but
first thing I'm hearing is my bad, dog.
Yeah, dog. Yeah. So
Right.
when I separate, like that's what it looks like. It's like no communication with anything, even the ones that I care about. Because y'all know how I feel about y'all, but it's like when I'm in it, bro, I'm all the way checked out. So now you talked about it a little bit, Ralph, with sports. Are you to that point? Or is it certain things that you look for in sports? Like, can you turn on a baseball game and get the same effect?
Yeah, that's because
Wow.
now I can't do that with all sports. Just any sport that I ever played in my life, I can do that with. But it's like you said, like I'll lock in and that's it. Like I have fully jumped into that TV or whatever. Like because I feel like that's the only time like I'm not thinking about the next thing that's gonna cause me stress. You know what I'm saying? I can actually just relax and really enjoy that. And I mean, I don't want to be bothered. Like tomorrow, football come on. I'm available until 10:59. 11 a.m. until whatever time that 8 o'clock game go off.
Yeah.
And I'm as content as I can be.
Yeah. So you just put me in the mind of something with Hillman. So it's funny. It's like a running joke, but every Sunday that the Broncos are playing, Hillman got this.
Wait. Broncos.
It ain't the Broncos.
Bears fan, bro.
I thought it was the Broncos. It ain't
Bear
the
down, bro. Hold on.
Apologize. You know I knew. I was just messing with you. So Hillman, it don't matter how bad the Bears are either. At that, right? So he posts his message on his Instagram every week, and I laugh every time I see it. And the summarize of this, I'm a Bears fan. The game is coming on today. If we lose, don't call my phone.
Please don't.
Like, I'm not here for nothing. I'm not gonna answer. So that's the first thing that I thought about when you said that. So I know your fan is well. Y'all don't really have a name. Well, y'all do got one.
We
It's
do. We're the
changed.
Commanders.
You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
just
So I wanted to ask, like, are you that heavy into Washington Commanders football that if y'all lose, like,
yeah.
you shutting it down?
And it ruins my week.
You,
Wow. Wow.
all right. So I'm glad this forum is about mental health because we're gonna get into that later on. But I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. So Hill, let's talk
Yo.
about some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis um,
Uh,
to focus on your self-care and your peace.
yeah, man. For me, meditation is one of the biggest things. And when I say meditation, it's not even I don't go into Zen mode and you know what I mean, and all that. It's I literally I do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I wake up in the morning, it's different each time throughout the day too. So in the morning when I do it, I go do the boxing class. When I come back home, for meditation for me is literally me cleaning up,
Okay.
right? I make sure the dishes are washed. I make sure if there's any, mess that's in the crib. While I'm doing that, I'm making a tea. And there's nothing, no, nothing on. Like there's no music, there's no nothing on. So like all the stuff, I'm literally just hearing the water run. I'm hearing the microwave. But in my brain, though, for me, what I try to do is just uh, focus on not thinking about what my day has to consist of, right? And so, because I think times for me, like, because I know my day has a lot going on in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I start thinking about it early, then I'm gonna jump on it early. So that
Ah.
means I'm gonna be responding to emails at 6 a.m. Ain't nobody gonna respond to my emails at 6 a.m. So what I
Mm-hmm.
do is I just zen in whatever the stuff that I need to do for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's make some tea, wash the dishes, clean up behind the animals, whatever. Um, then music for me is a really big self-care thing for me. When I listen to music too, it's not even a specific genre, man. I just put on music and just sit. Kind of like Ralph said. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll check out. Like, and I listen to the words, I listen to the rhythm, right? Because for me, music is such a visual, like I'm a visual musical person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to have some type of visual that I can create from the music I listen to. Um, outside of that, another thing I like to do to keep peace is, go look at shoes, man. And it's real simple. Just and I don't like doing it on the phone. I like going to the shoe store and picking the shoe up and
Mm.
feeling the material, looking at it. And it's not always the hottest shoe that's out. It's just the shoe that I like, right?
Mm.
And taking that time to do that for myself because when I do that, it's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I want. And so it's my ways of creating peace. They have changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to be more aware of that, be more mindful of it for myself. And like I talked about earlier, when I need to do it, I do it. Like
Okay.
I don't try to hide the me time. I'll say, hey, I need a couple minutes.
Mm.
I need
Oh,
I need some time. So
so that's actually going to bring us to another question that I want to touch on. But before we get there, I want to ask a little bit more about meditation.
okay,
So um, for as long as I have lived, I've known people to say that meditation is their go-to. That's what they do when they need to clear their minds or whatever the case is. So I've always been under the impression that with meditation, you're supposed to focus on one thing versus what it sounds like you're saying, which your version of meditation is actually the absence of thought. Like
yeah,
you're not thinking about anything. You want your mind to be completely blank.
yeah,
And I've always thought that it was okay, you need to focus on one thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's interesting. And how do you get to a point that you're able to clear your mind? Because I know how busy you are. I know everything that you have going on, and I know as much as you are a professional, man, you are very social.
Yeah.
You got a huge friend group, and y'all communicate all the time. So it's like, how do you do that? How do you go?
I'm gonna put it like this, man, and I'm gonna make it real simple and I'll explain it a little bit. So competence gives control to clarity for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What I mean by competence is uh, uh, my professional competence and my social competence, right? So me being aware, self-aware of what I need gives me the control for clarity, right? So when I know like that things are a little off for me,
Mm-hmm.
because every day I wake up is not always the best day, right? So if I wake up in the morning in a mood, which my wife likes to say I'm in a mood, um, and I know that she called it out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then in my head I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to get out of that, or
Mm.
to switch that up? And to break down how that is, man, you got to be socially aware. Not socially, sorry, self-aware. So
Mm-hmm.
self-awareness is a huge thing that I have to work on, and people have to work on in order to build that understanding of what meditation looks like for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Again, when we hear meditation, like you just said, you got to focus on one thing and that one thing only.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is okay, Hillman. What is it that keeps you calm? Right? What is peace to you? Right? So yes, there's a definition that's been created by Webster and whomever else
Mm-hmm.
what peace is, but what does it look like for you? What does it look like for Scotty? What does it look like for Ralph? For Hillman, it looks like, oh, Hillman washing the dishes,
Mm-hmm.
and not thinking about the work that he has to do. Hillman's thinking about washing the dishes and getting his day going with his tea. Right? It's a small things for me that chip away for the bigger picture. So for me, like I said earlier, and it sounds weird, but you got to give some clarity to what it is that you're aiming to get at,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's always people be like, I just want to chill, I just want to relax. Well, how you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for you,
Right.
right? And you got to explore that, and the only way for you to explore that, simple put, is to explore that. You got to what puts you at ease.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's yeah.
Well, I tell you one thing. I'm glad my meditation ain't washing damn dishes, because I know Brittany would be happy, but man, if
I'm not a
that's
deep
it,
man. That just keeps me calm. It's so weird too. Like that didn't start happening until a few years ago.
that's wild.
Like I've never I've been here for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I've I've never used a dishwasher. We have never used a dishwasher. I wash
Oh,
dishes every day, pretty much.
Wow.
Ralph, what you doing with them dishes?
What you doing,
Hey,
Rob?
nah, I'm country, so
Yeah. And that's it.
I wash them first. I wash them by hand, then I put them in the dishwasher.
Mm-mm. You wasting more water. What you got
Hey,
going?
look, hey man, you know how old habits die hard. That's you know,
I
You
get
right.
it. You
I
take enough
think
ass whoopings for not
yeah,
doing something. It's hard to break
yeah.
that. I feel it. I feel
So
it.
that's what I do. I wash them and then put them in the dishwasher.
Mm.
Man, you got to figure out, hey, what's that thing to keep you calm. And for me, oddly, is, and I be getting upset. Let P come in here and touch your dishes sometime. I be like, yo,
Yo,
that's me. Chill out.
I hope Brittany don't watch this, because I don't want her to get no
I have
ideas.
Miss Brittany watch it.
You don't want her to get no
Get her there.
ideas. Hey,
Chill.
so we gon' you touched on the Hillman. This was this one is gonna touch. This was gonna touch some space in people's minds and hearts, right? So, to kind of get us to what the ultimate question is gonna be, I present this to you guys. What are some common barriers to self care as it relates to your friendships, your relationships, your responsibilities in general? So, um, I'll kick this one off. So, and I know y'all gonna jump on this one. I already know it, because I feel like it's me, and it's one thing we can all relate to. One of the most common barriers to self care is guilt, and Ralph said it
Ooh.
earlier. It's guilt. So we know, man. Like you said, Paris come in. She like, yo, you in one of your moves, right?
Yeah.
So I can identify that I'm in a mood, but it's like, if I go to tell somebody else, like, yo, I need some time, I
Yeah.
need some space. I've gotten a lot better at that now, um, than I was in the past. And we'll jump on that. But so in terms of barriers to self care, outside of guilt, are there some other ones that you guys can throw out there?
I can quickly say, like I said before, and I know Ralph is true to this. You put other people before you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You care so much about everybody else, you forget about self.
Mm-hmm.
And then to double down on that, it's like we've kind of been, I hate to use this word, we've been kind of programmed to
Yeah,
do that. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? As men, that's what we're supposed to do.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to provide and protect. So how can we provide and protect if we looking out for ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
if we looking out for ourselves, then that's taking away from time that we supposed to be providing and protecting everybody else. So it's like we suppress that need for self-care until unfortunately it overtakes you and you have no choice but to take care of yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
that's big. Like for me, it's like, like you said, Helman, you'll wake up, you in a mood. I wake up in a mood. I might not even wake up. I might have went to sleep in a mood.
Yeah,
And I know that I needed to deal with that in order to be the best me I can be.
yeah,
But I can't bring myself to do that because I feel like somebody need me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs whatever they need from me at that time. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I handle myself later. I get over it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be okay. I deal with that another time. And it's tough. It's
it
definitely.
is. Yeah,
So when that happens and you decide to, okay, my needs are gonna take a back seat. When you do that, because I'm learning the older that I get that the first time it happened, right, shame on the
Mm-hmm,
person, right?
mm-hmm.
Second time it happened, I got to take some responsibility for it. So when you know that this is not going to help you, and ultimately it's not going to help the person that's asking you for your assistance, because you're going to either a half-ass do it or you're going to have an attitude in the midst of doing it. Have you gotten to a point where we are open to having those conversations with people to say, I can't do it, this is why, I need you to be okay with it? In the event that they're not okay with it, how do you handle it?
You want that Helman or you want me?
I was about to say I don't even get. Sometimes when I'm not okay with doing, I'm not okay with doing it. I don't need. I don't
You
need to
tell them straight
explain.
like that?
Why do I need to explain myself
Here we
about
go.
me taking care of myself, right?
All right.
And the hardest part is you feeling guilty for something that you need. That I know for a fact, if I don't do this for me, I'm not gonna be no good to you.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I need to explain myself? And unfortunately, I think that's where we mess up a lot of times. We do too much trying to explain it. Like do too much trying to explain. We do too much explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to? Right? If I can't do it, unfortunately, I can't do it.
Have you
And that's
lost any relationships? My fault, Ralph. I didn't mean to cut you off, but have you lost any relationships that meant a lot to you as a result of you taking that stance? And if you have, do you regret it?
I don't regret none of it.
You gonna
Now,
think about it, or you?
yeah, I think about it. That don't mean I regret it.
No, I mean your answer. Like it, I'm
I don't
I'm a little
regret.
envious that you said it
I don't
like,
regret when I need to take care of me.
wow.
If I need me, if I need to get me right, I don't regret telling you, no, I can't do it, or no, I can't come. That doesn't make sense for me to worry about you so much that I forget about what I need, and then I put myself in a downward spiral. We all go through stuff, right? We all are working to hopefully accomplish certain things in our life. And when you go through stuff, bro, it's not, the thing is, it's not like that other person can't understand. They
Mm,
just don't want to.
and
mm,
you know what's crazy? What's crazy is, see, I applaud you and Scotty, and both of y'all are at levels to me that I need to be at. Like you, Hillman, what you just said, that's like the ultimate goal for me, to be able to be like, hey, it don't even matter what, I gotta take care of me.
mm-hmm.
And I think me and Scotty, and you'll be able to relate to this, Hillman, what I'm about to say. I think me and Scotty both share a similar trait. That's the save the world trait.
Uh,
Meaning like, we got to take on everybody else's problems. We got
yeah,
to fix everybody else's problems. And in the process, we push our problems to the side.
yeah,
So I used to always tell Scotty about, when he was in Salisbury, like that's what he was doing. So this transition for him now is him getting towards what you just said about I'm taking care of me. The hell with, you know what I'm saying? As long once I take care of me, I can be who I need to be for my family and for anybody else. But I gotta do me first. I gotta take care of me first.
Yeah.
I need to get to that point because I'm telling you, like I can sit here right now and say, man, I need to really like take some time, meditate, reflect, whatever the case may be, to get myself together. But as soon as my phone rings or I get a text or email or something, somebody needs something, somebody going through something, I push all my stuff away, and now I'm over there with them trying to help them. But like Scotty said before, subconsciously it is half-assed because I'm not completely there to be able to help them the way they need to be helped. I don't realize it until later. But I'm really doing them a disservice by not telling them, hey, I hear you. I get with you tomorrow. Let me get me together first. So that's what I need to get to. So I definitely appreciate
it. Gonna be there. Like there will never be a time where something is not happening to someone that you love.
Mm-hmm.
I think the unfortunate part is they forget about you dealing with your life too, right? Because we all are men that work with everybody. We will do whatever we can. We'll take the shirt off our back to make sure somebody's good. And you know that saying, it look light, but it's heavy though. That's how we carry it. Like we do what we got to do. But then, when it does get to the point where I tell you no, now it's a problem. I'm like, why is it a problem? Right? In my head, I'm not asking you that because I honestly don't care now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why do people get to that point when they attach on to people such as ourselves where they say, yo, I need you right now. And you say, hey, I'm not in the place. I'm not in the mental space. I'm not in a good, mindset right now. So just come back to me tomorrow. Now, unless it's an emergency, then I will make sure that we can contact some type of emergency to get you some help. But if it's I need some such and such, holler at me tomorrow. I got you.
So I first and foremost, hey Ralph, this is why I appreciate you. Because you have now given me credit for something that is completely untrue. Right? So, you said earlier, like, yeah, like, I think Scotty is kind of getting to that point. I'm not at all. But here's what I've learned since moving. I have learned that here's the first thing I did, and I've never really told anybody this, and it's a God honest truth. Yeah. So when I got ready to transition, like this, but this is real. When I got ready to move, I finally got to a point where I started asking people for help. It was really the first time in my life that I felt like I went over and above and asking people for simple stuff. Not really anything that's, I'm not asking. First of all, I'm not asking for money because financially we all hurt. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I may ask you for your time. I may ask you just to accompany me in doing something, going somewhere, just to see what your response is. So one of the big ones was moving. Just simple stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just, it don't really take a whole lot of anything. It's just time, right? So
you miss a lot of people with that one, boy.
Bro, you
out of there. What? Moving.
So that was the first thing where it's like, okay, I ain't really, this is not reciprocated. And reciprocation, breaking that down even more, if I can't ask you for something, I learn to free myself from guilt when you ask me for something and it inconveniences me, right? So that was big for me in coming down here. And the second thing, man, was I made a conscious effort because I saw my spiral that you referred to earlier. I saw my spiral being so detrimental to my health and the stability of my family that it was really a situation where I was forced into removing myself from certain situations. So, just touching on what Ralph said, because again, he was lying about that. but I appreciate you. But here's the other part, Ralph. I want you to dig more into what do you think it was that initially gave you this responsibility to helping others, right? Because you said, um, I've always been that way. I've always been the type that, I want to help others. So I want to know what in your, in your viewpoint, was there anything in your life, was there any role models, was there any one person in particular that kind of puts you in a frame of mind that, you're here to help?
Yeah, well, like I don't know if Hillman know this, but like my dad passed when I was 10. So you know how people be like, who's your hero? Your dad. People say my dad. That was like my hero, my right hand man, my best friend, all that. And so when he passed, for like maybe about a week, I was all over the place. But then I realized I got siblings that I got siblings that I gotta take care of.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I had to grow up. I had to grow up fast, and I had to, absorb any issue that was going on, whether that was a little kid issue, a 10-year-old issue, or even an adult issue with my mom, because my mom was working so much that she couldn't necessarily do the things that she probably felt like she should do as a mom in terms of like maybe the cooking or maybe the cleaning, whatever the case may be. So I had to absorb all of those things, and it just stuck. So it just went from those little issues to now I'm growing, and now I'm always feeling like I gotta take on somebody's problems. And so I was always a good listener. So I would, and I'm like him, and I'm very social. So I would have friends, and my friends might talk, and they might say, well, this is what's going on with me. And I'm automatically like, okay, how can I fix that? How can I take that issue away from them? And the whole time I need them to take my issues away from me sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how can I take this issue away from them? And next thing you know, I'm 45 years old and I'm still doing the same thing. And it's like, so I have to say, like, it's a gift and a curse, because I feel like there's so many people, namely youth, that need people like us that can help, but it's a curse because we need those same people to help us. And we don't necessarily, for me anyway, don't necessarily know how to allow and how to solicit that assistance, that help. I know I don't. Like I'm still working on that. But that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
That's solid.
So Hillman, I present. I'm not gonna answer the question, but I'll be remiss if I didn't speak on this lady that is in your mom. Let me tell y'all about Hillman's mom. So Hillman comes from a family, and I ain't gonna talk too much on it because I need you to do it because I don't want to leave anything out. But
okay,
Hillman's mom, man, when I say heart of gold, like I know where he get it from. I that's why I really don't understand how he's so quick to be like, yeah, I cut him off, because I know I could see his mom, and there was a time she saw something was on me that I didn't even realize was there, and she just came up and just as natural as it could, and organic, man. That's how I know it was real. Just walked up and just starts talking, and it was like she would not let me go until she knew that this was up off me, or at least I wasn't thinking about it in that moment. She probably didn't even realize she was doing it. It was after a football game that your mom came to, right? It was the same game that she gave me them socks. Hill, listen. I was on one, and you probably know why, but I was on one. Your mom seen me, dude. Never mind the fact that she came bearing gifts, right? That was besides the point. Your mom would not let me go until she knew I was going to be okay. So I just had to give a shout out to Jesus.
My boots, so,
Mama Hillman, man. Shout out to Mama Hillman for
yeah, shout out.
everything that she is and has always been. So now
Yeah,
Hillman, I apologize for going off on that tangent. I had to do it. So
it's okay.
tell me about, where does this sense of responsibility for others come from initially, and when did you get it under control?
Went so I'm gonna piggyback off something by my mom. She taught me a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff she didn't even have to say to me, right? It was just from her actions and what I'd seen her do for other people. So she taught me how to dial into others and to help them out when I can. But she also taught me that I need to know when I need to step back because that's something that
Mm.
she didn't know how to do.
Mm.
Because everybody saw what she was doing, but they didn't see her at home when she was tired
Mm-hmm.
because she was helping so many people out. And so for me, it taught me like, okay, Hillman, yes, it's okay to help everybody out. It's okay to, when you can fit in, get in there. But she's always just been oh, let me fix it. Let me
Mm-hmm.
do it. Right. And so that's not to say when she got home, she didn't try to do that for us.
Right.
When she got home, I saw that she was tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, he's tired. It's like 6 o'clock. How you
Yeah.
tired? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she taught me that. But she also put me in a space to be around other men, similar to you, Ralph. Unfortunately, my father did pass away when I was at a very young age. I was 4 months old, right? And so,
Wow.
you know, up until 15 when she remarried my wonderful stepdad. Shout out to B. He taught me a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Shout out to B.
Shout out to
Oh
B.
yeah.
Uh, but up until then, I didn't, there was no man in the house. But what I did have, I had some great friends to this day. Their dads, you know, they were the ones that taught me how to maneuver around, right? Be the good father, be the good husband, be the good uh, community guy, right? It's just little stuff they would do that I just watch. I was very observant when I was a kid, like very observant. I soak it in, like, and I'm still the same way to this day. I'm the person that wants to meet other people and learn their story and figure out what within their story I can learn from
Mm.
for mine, right? So the people that I was around, my uncles, my cousins, my male cousins, um, and watching them maneuver, throughout their careers, their personal life, stuff like that taught me how to be the person that cares for others, and it taught me different ways to care for other people. So it didn't happen until I got older, when I had to, and it wasn't older age wise, it was older mentally, but I was, you know, yes, I was older in age, but I was still very childish
Mm-hmm.
uh, at an adult age, right?
Mm-hmm.
The legal age. It set me down a long time ago, bro. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was sitting in the middle of the park. I don't even know the name of that park, downtown Charlotte, crying, y'all. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I literally left my apartment in Concord, drove to the middle of Charlotte in the park, crying. Wasn't no, wasn't no suicide or nothing like that. It was just crying because I was lost. And I got tired of trying to pour into everybody else, and I felt alone.
Mm.
And I was like, "Yo, what is going on? Like, what is wrong with me right now? Like, why am I going through this?" And so that's when it really clicked for me that I need to pour into myself more because I
Mm.
was moving so much. Like Scotty, like I was just a go getter when I got the
Mm-hmm.
shot. I was just trying to figure it out. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing all the time. I was working 4 jobs in school, you
Crazy
know,
as hell.
just moving, getting up every morning 4 o'clock, just
Mm-hmm.
going, not going to sleep till 1 o'clock. And they hit me, and I was like, "Dang, what do I need to do to kind of put some peace on my heart and my mind?" So that's when it started. That was in like 2016. Yeah, 16. Yeah, right before 2016 is when it like hit me that I need to start my self care. Start to take me a little bit more serious.
So you just said something, and me and Ralph kind of talked about it earlier. He probably know the direction I'm gonna go. First, let me speak on this. So Hillman, what I've gotten from you and what I've learned from you, and Ralph, I think this is gonna help me and you both as well as anybody else that's asking some of these same questions about how do you do certain things. Hillman, what I've heard you say is you have figured out how to set boundaries with people.
Yeah.
You have learned how to facilitate those conversations early in the game, right? And I think that's the key. Like
Yeah.
if you establish what your expectations are in a friendship, if you establish what your expectations are in a relationship, if you set those expectations uh, for a job, for any type of thing that you're gonna have some responsibility and another person's gonna have shared responsibility that has the ability to affect you, it sounds like setting healthy barriers and some rules of engagement. You know what I'm saying? That may be the answer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to discuss. Because again, I said in the intro video, man, we're not gonna run from tough conversations. We're not gonna
Yeah.
run from them. We're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna be real about it. Because at
Spill the
the
tea,
end,
bro.
yeah, bro, yeah, like I'm hoping that this helps somebody else. So um, me personally, we talked about I transitioned and moved to Jacksonville, all that stuff. A lot of people don't know during probably the last 2 to 3 years before making that transition, suicide was a real thing for me. Like it was heavy. Like it was on the forefront of my mind a lot of days, just because I didn't. We being real. So my kids were struggling academically, right? And I felt that responsibility. Um, my wife felt it too. I'm sure. Like we had many nights, man, where we felt like failures as parents. And really, what it boiled down to, going back to the barriers of self care, it was a time, right? Like we were responsible for so much. The
Yeah.
economy was terrible. We had COVID going on. We really didn't have the time to do certain things that only kind of built up depression, anxiety, stress, and everything else. So um, when I felt here this was my fault, I didn't really know at that time who I could call to have some of these conversations with. And B, it goes back to growing up, the only emotion that was accepted, and I know we've heard this all before from men, is anger.
Yeah.
Right? So either I was lashing out, which I tried that and it didn't work because nobody understood where it was coming from, and my anger looks different.
Yeah.
Right? My anger it's all the way there. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't work. So then, when I started having conversations about some of the stuff that I was feeling, it was too late. I couldn't talk to my wife about it because it would literally sound like I was rambling because I was going back to stuff that was happening 10 years prior
Yeah.
to.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I can't unload that off on anybody. So, I bring that up to say, you talk about who's responsible for putting you first. It almost scares me how easy it was for me to rationally think that suicide was better than figuring out
It's
how
tough.
to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? Like it had nothing to do with anybody else because I knew I was the only one that could help fix me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm still working through that. I don't know that there's a man on this earth that has dealt with some of the things that we dealt with that, we haven't thought like, man, what am I here for? Like, what is my purpose? All these questions. And
Yeah.
just mine,
Mhm.
That's a
mine
real
went up.
question. That's a
Yeah.
real question that a
Yeah.
lot of people, we try so hard to figure out.
Hmm.
And I think, Scotty, what you just did was super powerful in sharing that information. So I want to applaud you for being able
Definitely.
to share that, man. Feel
Hey
comfortable in
man, we
sharing.
ain't running from it.
Yeah.
I'm a drink to
That's
that. We,
that's that's
we ain't gonna run
amazing.
from it. Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of us, when I say us, I'm talking about Black men specifically,
Mhm.
we
Hmm.
are scared to share, right?
Hmm.
Because we are built to be the tough ones. We are built
Mhm.
to be the guys that, water on a duck's back. Don't
Hmm.
nothing bother us, right? And I think that was something for me I had to let go of. Because I even asked that question, we walk around, I'm like, I would ask my boys, I'm like, bro, when y'all walking through, have y'all ever seen like another black person, a black guy specifically, and y'all just be like looking angry? And I'm like, why are you looking mad, bro?
Hmm.
Like, and when you see him, y'all look at each other, he just like, he hit you with a nod. I appreciate the nod.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also just like, hey, brother, smile. It's okay.
Yeah.
I ain't in here trying to, like get over on you. Hopefully, you're not trying to
Yeah.
do that to me. But it's just like that image that we have to portray
Mm-hmm.
when we go out is the I'm hard, don't mess with me until you get a chance to know me type of person.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dang, that's wild. That is how we've been molded. That's how we've been created. But
So
what you
Ralph,
see
so
doing
so
that.
so Ralph, I seen you nod and agree, right? Like you knew exactly what he was talking about. So with that, I'm gonna ask this question to you, because with you being an elder statesman, that's not a joke, by the way. But
Right.
one thing that I know and appreciate is I can come and talk to you, and I know you've had more life experience that I have, right? So as much as I make jokes about it, I'm really hating. I'm really hating because the amount of knowledge that I know and wisdom that you have, you know what I'm saying? That's why I come to you about things. So with that being said, Hillman talked about, you just randomly walking around and you see people and they grit facing, right? They down, they whatever. They want to be the toughest guy in the room. So my question is, do you think people are conditioned to be that way?
I
And if
think,
they are, in your experiences, what type of things have led to that?
yeah, it's a for me, it's a quick answer. Yes, I do think that they conditioned to be that way because, and I can only speak for us as black as being a black man. I can only speak from that perspective. Um, because it's so many things in my mind that stacked against us
Mm-hmm.
already, like from opportunities, from relationships, from financial things. That everything is stacked against us, so we got to work 4 or 5 times harder than everybody else. So it's like, why am I smiling for? You know what I'm saying? Like when we go to the gas station, a lot of times it's an adventure. If I put $20 in the tank today, what I'm gonna eat tonight? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that is gospel.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but you look at other people, and I'm not saying they don't have no problems, but
Yeah.
you don't see these same questions. The question you asked about the gritting, the mean mugging,
Yeah.
the Caucasians, they not like that. They
Yeah.
smiling like shit.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's up?
Everything, and it's like, in
I
our
love
mind, it's like, damn, why can't we not have that?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so the condition is like, man, I don't have nothing to smile about right now. So I gotta, like, I'm not happy. You know what I'm saying? And we wear our emotions on our sleeve anyway, so you can always tell how we look.
Mm-hmm.
Now a lot of times that same look can be a cry for help. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
saying? Like maybe I want somebody to ask me what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so I can unload on them. Like you said, Scotty, you don't want to unload on everybody because it sound like you're rambling. But sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we just looking that way so somebody can say, "Hey, man, what's up with you? What's going on? You had a good day? What's on your mind?" But yeah, so that's to me, I think that's what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also think, and I don't want to keep going on a soapbox, but I always tell Scotty this: when I go to DC, or when I'm coming back to North Carolina from DC, it's like when I cross the border, my mentality and my demeanor changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like up north in the DC area, it's like I gotta be tough. I gotta be on the
Yeah.
defense all the time. Like ain't nobody opening the door for me, ain't nobody doing that. But as soon as I come to North Carolina, it's like I can relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think the way that makes me feel, it makes me feel like there is some type of hope, because that's like a mental barrier that I go through, and I think that'll help.
Well, here's just a tidbit of information, and you made me think about it when you talked about always kind of being on edge. So like I said earlier, backgrounds in law enforcement, and one thing that um, so right now, for those who don't know, and I don't even know if I mentioned it, but right now I'm in a master's program for clinical mental health counseling. Like the end game is to one day be a licensed and certified therapist. Um, and really that came from learning more about stress, just stress as a whole. So one of the things that just popped into my head when you talk about, you in DC and feeling like you always got to be on edge. In law enforcement, they talk about when you're on the job, you got, it's essentially going back to like school lockdown codes, right? So you got a code yellow, you got a code orange, you got a code red. Code red is I'm ready. I'm ready for it to go down. Like the threat is here, I'm with it. Code orange is I'm kind of in between both, but I'm leaning more on, all right, I'm about to have to go there with somebody or somebody baby. And yellow, there's still a little bit of caution in everything that you're doing, but you're more optimistic towards it being a positive outcome. So literally, man, there were studies that were done about how unhealthy it is to be in code orange all the time.
Yeah.
We're not talking about red, right? What you're talking about is absolutely red. So if there are risk factors, talking about depression, talking about anxiety attacks, talking about really, man, you talk about alcohol and drug abuse, all these different things that if you do not find alternative ways or remove yourself from certain environments, like what the long-term effects of it can be. So I just wanted to throw that in there, man. When you talked about walking around always like on edge, that's one thing that I have been very persistent about as I'm exploring myself and what works best for me. Like even in uniform, man, like I walk around and I'm talking to people because I've been where they are, right? And I'm not ignorant to the fact that I'm wearing a uniform, right? So off rip, you see me in uniform and you don't know me, you already on red, right?
Yeah.
And we all know why. We gonna get on that subject at a later date because I got some tea for that shit. But be that as it may, I think as men, and we've heard this before, but it's how do we implement it? As men, we got to learn how to be more open to engage when we see the same stuff that we're going through on other people or the same things that we've already overcome on other people, right? If you my brother, I owe it to you, right? There's a quote that I live by, Muhammad Ali: service to others is the rent that we pay for our time here on earth, right? So it's that mindset, but at the same time, there's a flip side to it. We got to also be willing to let our guard down when people who truly do mean us well are trying to come in and positively influence our life. If you approach me on the street, first reaction you're going to get is not going to be positive. It just is what it is. Because we always thinking the worst of people based on our experiences, right? So let's talk about that. Somebody walks up to you and piggybacking off of what you said, Ralph. Somebody walks up to you and like you said, you need somebody to hear you out, right? And tend to Ralph for a minute. If somebody were to walk up to you like, hey brother, everything good? Can I help you with something? What's your response?
It depends on what they look like.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is if they older,
yeah,
be more receptive. But if they my age or younger, I'm gonna be on the defense because I'm gonna feel like it's a purpose behind it. Like what you mean? And that's wrong because the older person could have the same
intent,
could mean me harm too, the same intent. But a lot of times, like you said, like I can't remember who said it. I'm old, but like the older guys, they got a lot of wisdom. And they can see stuff. They see stuff, and they might be like you said. That's what it was. Like you said with Hillman's mom, when she knew something was on you, and she wouldn't let you go until she knew you was okay. Older gentleman, or even an older woman might say the same thing. Like, what's going on, man? You know. And you'll be more. At least me, I'll be more inclined to open up, to share, versus somebody that's in my age bracket, because I feel like they'll be able to use that against me somewhere down the line, and that's a whole nother thing, because that pride thing right there.
I think you feel like you can whoop that old man ass too. I think this got something to do with it too.
I'm still with it.
Yeah. You can put pause on old man. So Hillman. All right. So I'm not gonna put your age out there, but Um,
Don't do that.
you know, I think you are in a place that even, you know, Ralph's older than me, I'm older than you, but there's so much that we can take from your experiences at your age, and I'm hoping that this conversation, this forum, shows just that. Reason
Yeah,
why I bring that up, um, you know, going back to what Ralph said, the younger guys, them guys have been through, they done been through some stuff too.
yeah.
So I just wanted to interject that little piece in there. You know, we don't want anybody to think that, oh, if you're younger than me, you don't know nothing,
No, that's
right?
not true.
Because in knowing Ralph personally, um, a lot of those guys are Ralph coached, the ones that I've seen at Livingstone through basketball. Man, I know they done taught him a whole lot of stuff because just me being lucky enough to be around him when he's having conversations with some of those younger guys, I've learned stuff
Yeah,
from some of
Hmm.
them jokers. Shout out to Ty, right?
Definitely,
I just
definitely.
got to shout. I got to shout Ty out. I don't know how old this dude is. He might have graduated after you here.
I think he did. Or around the same time.
I done
Yeah,
learned so much from that dude, and you know, I don't know that I've ever told him that, or if he realizes how much I picked up from him. But you know, I just wanted to make sure we threw that out there that, you know, we ain't writing it off because everybody can teach you something on any given day.
definitely, definitely.
All right.
Good fact. I
So
got these.
last question.
What's up?
We kind of touched on it, but this is gonna be kind of like the wrap up, right? So Ralph gave me this one earlier. Is self care synonymous with selfish?
Look, I
Is
know what
there
he'll say.
is there a separation, and what is that separation?
Who
Okay, so because you so heavy on it, I'm gonna give you this dynamic. He not ready for this one, Ralph. Watch this. Here's a perspective that Ralph and I have that you don't have yet, but I'm looking forward to when you have this perspective.
yes, please. I think I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the needs of my kids and my family.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When I know they are in need, and I also know that I'm in need, what do you do? Because there are exceptions to the rule. Hillman, I know one to get you right now. If you know your mom is in need,
I'm doing what I gotta do.
for your mama,
Yeah.
And you can
but
put yourself on the back burner.
So I look at so what is it that we talking about needing too though? Does she need me to do something?
you're not
Right?
about to fool me. It don't
I'm
matter
not
what
trying to
your
fool
mama.
you.
Your mama ain't my mama. If your mama needs something, I'm tending to that. Cause
If my
just
mama called me at 12, 2, so then I know it's something different,
yeah,
right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you need, right? And who's the person that calls what you do selfish, right? Is it you calling yourself that, or is it what somebody else?
guilt. Right, we'll go with
Yeah.
guilt. So
We're gonna-
internally, cause I know that's what me and Ralph on. Like,
Mhm.
it ain't easy, man, for me to just be like, yeah, like you owe this to
It's
yourself.
not. I don't
I
think
ain't
it's
there
what
yet.
you do. Like I really feel. I honestly feel like Paris and I have this conversation all the time about kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lord willing, we are able to have some when we do decide to have some.
Yes, sir.
And I already told her, I was like, I know I'm gonna be there for my kids. Like I know I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I also know I'm gonna need to do what I need to do for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? How's that gonna look? I don't know until I get there. But I do know that once they up until a certain point, when they're able to understand
Mm-hmm.
and comprehend what daddy's talking about, I'm gonna say, Daddy need 10 minutes. Give
Okay.
daddy 10 minutes. If I get the whole 10 minutes, great. If I get 2 of those 10 minutes,
Yeah.
work with it. But it's like for me, there's never going to be a time, man, for real, because I felt like, of course, I think that yes, there are going to have to be sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
There's never, it's a double negative. It's never not going to be a time
Mm-hmm.
where you have to sacrifice.
Right.
But there's also going to have to be a time where you have to sacrifice. You got to put you in a position to be the best version of you. Like we don't do that enough.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't do it when I don't have kids, when I do have kids, it's
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
I respect you for that. I respect you for being real about it, and B, I respect the fact that that's really how you feel, right? So I think it takes a certain level of confidence in yourself and knowing that if I don't have anything else, I got me.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have that opinion, man, if you truly are not okay with putting you first. Like
Dude,
I don't think to this point I would not have the confidence to say what you just said. So
Yeah.
that's why I
Well,
respect it. Yeah.
bro, I
So
saw this dad earlier. We went to a little outing. I saw this dad earlier with 2 beers in his hand and his daughter in his arms.
yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, "Oh, you about to go take the beers to the family?" He said, "No, these beers are for me." And in my head, it clicked. I literally said to P, I was like, "That's something I'm probably gonna do when I have kids
Yeah.
because I'm still gonna take care of me.
Yep.
Got these beverages in my hands, but I'm also gonna have mine with me, and they're gonna see that, Daddy. That's my goal, right? I don't have kids yet, but my
Mm-hmm.
goal is to, when I do have them, for them to understand. There are times that even with the kid, even with my animals,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they gotta have their time. I put them in their respected area for them to chill out sometimes. They don't always want to be touched and rubbed and
Mm-hmm.
praised all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go to bed. Close it up. I'll throw you some ice. He chill. Like he chilling right now.
Hey, you said some ice. What you mean some ice?
Like it's ice, literally. They're like treats.
Oh,
He
you
like,
throw ice to your dogs.
yeah, he like ice. The cat and the dog like ice.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Those
Um,
spots, call spots.
so Ralph, same question, right? Uh, do you think that there's a difference between putting yourself first and being selfish? Is there a difference? And what is the difference?
so watch how tricky my answer gets.
I already know you're gonna jump the fence on this.
So like I can sit here and tell both of you all if that was the thing that you all was facing, that was the question y'all was facing. I can say, look, you got to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be no good for nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say that. But when I can't say that to myself, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't, because so I do feel like it's selfish, because I feel like I'm supposed to, as the man, as the dad, I'm supposed to make sure they're okay,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's at the detriment of me. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm supposed to make sure they're okay. Now, what I'm learning is that that's not always the best approach, because going back to what Hillman said in one of the previous questions, when he said he wound up at the park,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what, what I'm saying, brought him to the realization that he got to take care of himself first. Well, mine took place in the hospital.
Wow.
I had 200 over 140. That was my blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor said, how'd you get in here? I said, I walked. He said, oh, nah, you ain't necessarily supposed to be walking in here. So that, I'm not saying that's all my kids. That's me taking on everybody's issues and all that. But what I'm saying is, I have to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think self-care is synonymous with being selfish, but I think you have to be selfish in order to make sure you're okay. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do think, for me, I think it is being selfish, because the only way I'm gonna do self-care is if I'm being selfish.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm not being selfish, I'm not gonna take care of myself.
That's real.
That makes a lot of sense.
So,
So I'd like to give my answer to it, only based on, these are all recent discoveries. So I think what helps me is I am understanding that I'm not going to be able to change who I am. Like I'm just not going to get away from, man, I got a heart for serving people. I'm not going to be able to run away from that. But what I've learned is I'm only going to be that way for those who will do it in return. Everybody's not going to get that version of me. Everybody does not deserve that version of you. If God put it in you to be that person, You ain't got no choice about that because you're never gonna go against what your first instincts are, regardless of the circumstance, right? So that's what's helped me. I know it's a lot of other people out there that are the same way, right? You just want to help. You want to see everybody happy. You want to see all these different things. You want to see people win. But we also know there's people out there. They ain't playing the same game that you are. They ain't playing by the same rules, and we are easy to be taken advantage of. Cause that's what it boils down to. Like you got if you have more takers in your life than givers, you got a real problem. That's what was told to me as I'm in a hospital, like trying to figure out how to keep myself from, you know what I'm saying, getting back down there. If you got more takers in your life than you got givers, you got a problem. So I offer that to anybody that's listening. Don't change who you are if you know that's you, but just be cognizant of who you giving it to, because not everybody deserves the best version of you.
That's a
Right.
fact.
So, hey man, we have now been at it for an hour and 20 minutes.
You keep going.
I don't know how is what I don't know how this happened. So if y'all have more questions that y'all can think to throw out, then cool, we're gonna go with it. But I know the content is there.
Yeah.
So are there any questions, you know what I'm saying, that y'all want to throw out kind of related to the same topic? The only one that I had was really we was gonna have a discussion about how do you deal with, you know what I'm saying, you got a spouse that does not support whatever your self-care looks like. But we can touch on it. If we're gonna touch on it, I'm gonna repeat the question.
If it's detrimental to my health, and I think P did that one time, right? Because I like because I'm still a social butterfly.
Yeah.
Right. So despite everything I'm saying, yes, I live what I'm saying, but I'm also very social. I'm the guy that's going out meeting. I don't meet a stranger. Right. But when I was doing things in Paris to her, it was like, okay, you're doing a lot of drinking. Right. That's because she hasn't been around a person like me that's just this social. And at first I got defensive because I'm like, what? Like, I'm not like a drunk or nothing like that. She was just like, you drinking a lot.
Yeah.
And I got defensive because I'm like, oh no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, but then I had to re-look at it and say, you know what? She said that because she actually care about me. It's nothing against, her caring about me and her making that statement that I had to get defensive. What it showed me was I had to show her the kind of guy I am. Like, I'm a responsible drinker. Right. So I can have some beverages now. I can take some back, but I also know when it's that time. Like, I know when I'm at my limit. But she doesn't know that. Right. And so I just had to, I would say having a spouse, that it could definitely get to the point where, they say stuff and yeah.
But it's funny because just like you said, when you hear it initially from a genuine person, you go take it, you go get defensive about it because that's who you are. That's, what I'm saying. Which way if you feel attacked almost. But like I was told, that you can't keep being everything to everybody. You can't keep doing that because ultimately you go hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? From a health standpoint, somehow, some way, your body gonna let you know. Okay, all right, you don't want to take care of me. Watch this. I'm gonna
sit you down real quick.
So I took that to say, like, what you mean? I'm that's what I'm supposed to do. I even took it as far as to say, man, that's a good guy. I'm a good man. I'm trying to look out for everybody else. I'm trying to put everybody else first before myself. Yeah. And this is an issue. But then I said, well, damn. If I fall out and I ain't here no more.
Exactly. Then what?
Now what? Now I done caused a problem for my 3 girls that now they gonna be without because I'm doing something crazy. So instead of getting defensive, I need to say, okay, hold on. Yeah. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe let's look at that a little more objectively rather than taking it personal. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
That's why I was saying earlier, like when we were talking about y'all being there for everybody, Like I love it. I want to be, but I've come to understand that I can't.
Mm.
Can't. I stopped. I literally stopped. I used to reach out to people. Man, I would call. Sound crazy. I would call 10 to 20 people every other day, just checking in on them, seeing how they're
Mm.
doing.
Mm.
I stopped doing that. Ask me how much my phone's ringed. None.
You probably don't.
Don't unless somebody needs something, right?
Ooh,
But
wee.
then it got to the point now. That was back when, right? Now
Mm.
it's got to the point where they understand, and I had to get to the point where I understand we all going through something, but I was just the one that was checking in on everybody. I wouldn't get that in return
Mm.
unless I call you. Then you ask me how I'm doing,
Mm.
but I
But
wouldn't get.
that might be followed by, "How you doing, Hillman? But you good? Okay. Well, look,
Yeah.
can you now that
Yeah,
you good, can you
so
do X, Y, and Z?"
I
Hey,
stopped.
so I feel it necessary. We talked about it in the beginning, right? Because there are exceptions to most rules, right? So I feel like I was in Hillman really was cussing me out at one point about bro would just call to check in.
That's oh yeah, oh man,
I know I was in that number that Hillman was just talking about, right? So
yeah,
here's what I'm hoping in my mind. Like here's why I feel like I'm an exception to the rule. Um, I always felt like Hillman was okay.
yeah.
Hillman was never one to call me really to ask me for anything. Hillman needed when he would call me. Hillman needed time, and Hillman needed reassurance that
That's
he wasn't about to make a mistake. Here was the problem for me. It was because I didn't learn to separate a Hillman from a taker. Right, I struggled with that, and it was easy for me to build up anxiety when I saw Hillman call because I was so used to everybody else calling me because they really needed me to do something that they wouldn't do for me.
oh
Right. So, and Hillman, I don't know if I ever told you that I just, because you've always extended me grace. Hillman would be like, look, I ain't mad at you. You
yeah,
still my dog.
yeah,
I'm a little upset that you didn't answer the phone, but I'm not holding it against you. And
yeah.
that meant the world to me to be offered grace because I knew a lot of other people. Damn, I've been
Yeah.
calling you for 3 days and da 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 da. And no, Ralph
Right.
wouldn't do that. Ralph wouldn't do that.
I don't
But
do that.
it was legitimately like people would get so upset because I couldn't help them get out of their shit.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like, yo, you going off on me? Do you know what
What I
I've been dealing with the past 3 days for me to, you know what I'm saying, the drawback a little bit? But then I here's another deal. I this ain't me bragging or whatever, but hey, I don't feel like it's too many people that can just whoop my ass. Yeah, that's not me being funny because I know I can take a ass like somebody really can do it, but I don't know that it's a lot of people in my life that is just gonna dog me out, right?
yeah,
But here's what's real. Here's me being honest about it. I would be afraid to stand up to myself, to stand up for myself when people would attack me for picking me over what they had going on.
yeah,
I've never really said that, but I would literally see my phone. It'd be 70 text messages,
yeah.
100 missed calls, 30 voicemails because it capped at 30. I know that because I've been there multiple times. And when they would call again, I would be afraid to answer the phone
I get what you're saying.
because of what they, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, and again, anybody could just come up and whoop my ass. It wasn't that, but I
Yeah,
think I had this fear of disappointing people, right?
that's what it
Yeah.
came down to.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what.
but here's what I can see now, and I'm only bringing this up for somebody else out there that may be where I was. Notice I say it was. Uh, the disappointment really was me saying to myself, now you ain't here helping this person, but when your ass need help, you want somebody to answer the phone.
My, yeah,
Now,
Mhm.
granted, when I call and I need help, it ain't gonna be the same type of help they looking for. It's yo, I need to borrow something, or yo, I got into this. Can you get me out of it? Or yo, I need a ride, or whatever the case is. It was always those type things versus You know what I'm saying? If I call and need help, man, I probably just need your time. I
That's
need
it.
you to reassure me that what I'm thinking about doing ain't a mistake, right? So, Hillman, again, I'm gonna bring it back up, man. I appreciate you always offering me grace because
No
I didn't
problem.
always deserve it, but you
Hey,
always
no,
gave it.
you're
Ralph,
right.
you too. Ralph, you too.
You're right.
Like,
Yeah, you deserve it.
I don't know that. You said I didn't deserve it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's real.
But it's something that, that's what it is. Grace
That's
is what it is,
that's
right?
your mom in you, man. Your mom would not, the way she raised you, she would not let you give up on me, man. So I appreciate that. Ralph, same to you. Cause it's been real. It's been times where I know Ralph done called just to check in or talk about them
Just
damn,
nothing. Just to check. How you doing? What's up?
yeah, bro.
I
It
don't
was
need nothing. I just wanted to holler at
it
you.
was always easy to write y'all off because I always felt like y'all wouldn't judge me for what was going on. That's just the
That's why I
honest to
said
God
earlier, it
truth.
looked light, but it's heavy though. When
Yeah.
people think that
Mhm.
exactly what you just said, like
Oh yeah.
they want
So
you so much, and they forget.
that's how I go, dog. So let me just take a moment to give both of you guys an opportunity. We're gonna have some closing thoughts. And this is something we're gonna toast to. I don't know if y'all still got y'all's. I got mine.
I got my
Um,
tea. Let me get it.
what I'm gonna ask from both of y'all is on the subject of self-care. I want you guys to speak directly to somebody who may be struggling in that area. Um, Even if we ain't got it all together, we ain't where we were, right? So I'm gonna ask both of you guys just to give somebody that's struggling with choosing themselves some direction, right? Give them some whatever's on you. When I bring that up, I want you to give it to them because that's what this whole forum is about. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to not make the same mistakes that we've already seen and overcome or failed at, right? Or failed at. I want to keep them from having to walk that same path that we were on. So, Ralph, I'm gonna start with you being an elder statesman. If you can give us something on that.
What I'm gonna say, and before I do, I want to thank both of y'all for allowing me an opportunity to be on here and share some things, be vulnerable to this topic because it is definitely a powerful and a very important topic. My closing message to anybody that thinks like me and has that in their mind that save the world, take on everybody's problem. It's not an issue doing that. If that's your calling, let that be your calling. However, before you can be a savior to anybody, you got to take care of yourself. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to make sure you're in the best position possible, the best version of yourself that you can be, because that's the only way that you can give 100% to anybody else.
That's real.
You can't give 100% of somebody if you are 50 or 40% of yourself. It
That's it.
don't work that way. So the question was asked is self-care synonymous with selfish? Be selfish sometimes. Make
Mm,
sure you're okay. Make sure you're okay. Be selfish enough to take care of yourself so that you can give yourself your best version of yourself to somebody else.
I
bet
love,
that.
yeah, I
Like that.
love that. That's a
Hey
tough.
Hillman, I'm gonna change your question a little bit.
That's tough though. I couldn't Ralph hit it with.
Yeah, he did. He did. But I'm changing your question to this.
All right.
I want you to speak to. I'm not gonna put your business out there, but I am to a certain extent.
So
Respectfully, this is what I'm gonna go with.
okay.
When I first met Hillman Evans back in what was it?
I
12?
met you in 2000 and yep.
12, right? That version of Hillman Evans had all the tools in the world, but may have lacked the confidence to pull it off, right? And I think a lot of that was Hillman was so concerned about about the way that people will perceive the goals that you have for yourself,
Yeah.
right? So what I'm asking you to do is talk to 2012 Hillman, right? And tell him what you have learned in these whatever years, 10 years, 12, whatever it is, what have you learned that will help that guy be more confident in his ability to take care of himself and to make decisions that are going to help you down the road?
One, that's a long question.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's because I know you. You know what I'm saying? I know what I saw.
I'm thinking over here on like what my response is gonna be.
Because can I tell you what I did back in 2012?
What'd you do back in 2012?
When you would come to me with questions, I never answered them. I never told you what to do. All I did was tell, hey Hillman, you know this shit.
Yeah.
Do it. That's all it was. So how can 2012 Hillman get to a point where you standing on that?
I would break it down to excuse me. I would break it down to 4 things, man. 2012 Hillman. If I could go back and talk to him, the first thing I would probably tell him is to commit to who he really is. Like commit to Hillman. Like stop worrying about what everybody else thinking Hillman should be doing, or what the direction they think you should go in. Commit to you and follow that process. Prioritize what it is that you need. What do you need, Hillman? Like what do you want? What do you need to get to that next level? So I have to learn how to prioritize what that looks like. And then I would say, reflect on what does it look like for you going towards what you need. Because I think that was one of my biggest things. I didn't have there's no direct path. Like, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna dibble dabble on this and I'm gonna jump over here on that and I'm gonna come back to this over here instead of doing exactly what you just said, Scotty. You did give me an answer. Little did you know, but you always told me, put both feet in and go on that journey. And then once you feel like you've mastered or you got to a point where you are capable of being competent in whatever it is you're talking about, then go on to the next thing. So I took that and said, okay. He said, put both feet in, because I was so used to just one foot in everything.
Right.
8 different shoes. So that's why I said commit first. Commit to who you are. Who is Hillman? What does Hillman want? How does Hillman get around it? And I just had a conversation with a brother of mine yesterday about that. What does Hillman want? What does Hillman want to share with the world? And I was like, dang, that's a really good question. So I would say commit, prioritize, and then reflect what that looks like, because you're going to grow. And if you're not growing, then, and when I say grow, yes, age-wise, you're going to do that. But mentally, like if you're not growing mentally and emotionally, learn how to, figure out why do I feel this way? Why am I feeling this emotion in this situation? That helped me out a lot mentally. I would definitely have that type of conversation with him. And I'm still having that conversation with myself now.
That's real.
But it's gotten me to a whole different level. Physically, mentally, emotionally, relationally, all those. So yeah.
I like that. Granted, it's all Paris now. Paris is the reason why you're good now.
She's the reason. She's the sole reason.
Great answer. Great answer.
Yep, she's the one.